So we go to shoot around, and we're leaving shoot around, and we're on the bus, and MJ like, man, drop me off here. And drop him off at the bar. He said he's going to have some beers, right?
Huh?
Say he's going to have some beers.
Listen to the rest of this story,
okay,
bro.
go and have some beers. So he tell us to pick him up on the way back to the game. We pick him up. He still got his sweats on. You know MJ come to the game suited and booted, all right? He still got his sweats on. Pick us up. He get on the bus. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good, right? Bubbly. You can smell the beer on him. Got 30 at half, all right? Going through warm-ups, man, I'm seeing 3 rims. I'm going to shoot at the one in the middle. Okay?
That's hard.
Okay? And then told us, if y'all can't beat them, we don't need to win a championship. Y'all can beat them without me. But came in there and he got it done early and wouldn't sit down. Okay?
Fresh off
sit down?
Wouldn't sit down.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back, my people. So you saw the clip at the beginning of the video. That was Craig Hodges telling a story about Michael Jordan. Said they were at shoot around before the game. And after shoot around, Michael Jordan had the bus drop him off at the bar and said, pick me up on the way back to the game. Craig Hodges said, pick Michael Jordan up. He clearly was bubbly. You could smell the beer on his breath. At the pregame shoot around, Michael Jordan said, I'm seeing 3 rims. I'm going to shoot at the one in the middle. And proceeded to drop 30 points by halftime. And basically said, if you guys can't win without me, we don't deserve to win the championship. To me, this is a fascinating story. It's a great story about Michael Jordan. And to me, it is just another story that demonstrates that when the odds are stacked against Michael Jordan, whether that's external or internal, whether that's coming from the opposition or self-inflicted, when the odds are stacked against Michael Jordan, he continues to rise to the occasion. He gets better and better. You know, when he's injured, he plays better. When he's sick, he plays better. And I think what we can really gather from this is the difference between Michael Jordan and a lot of other players. We can definitely say LeBron James. But the difference between Michael Jordan and a lot of other players is this. Michael Jordan actually likes to be challenged. Some people don't like to be challenged. LeBron James does not like to be challenged. This is very clear and evident by the measures he has taken to avoid the challenge. You know, through the super teams, through the flopping, not playing defense while chastising his teammates for not playing defense. All of these things are clear, undisputable signs that LeBron James does not like to be challenged. But Michael Jordan likes to be challenged. He thrives off of the challenge. Phil Jackson said Michael Jordan loves being in the center of the storm. Basically mean he likes when the pressure is on. Michael Jordan thrives in that. He likes that. And when you have that kind of mentality, you are going to be a winner. You are going to succeed more than the average person, because the average person does not like to be challenged. Even people who are above average doesn't necessarily mean that they like to be challenged. Some people get where they are because they're naturally gifted in certain ways. Again, LeBron James. But some people are naturally gifted and they like to be challenged. They like for things to be difficult. They like to see if they can overcome something. This is what they live for and what they thrive on. And Michael Jordan has said that pretty much throughout the entirety of his career. Whenever he was asked about retirement or, what keeps him going, he's basically said, if I feel like I'm no longer challenged, like I don't have a challenge anymore, that's when I'll walk away from the game. He said, I'm always looking for something to challenge me, something to overcome. And this is a trait that is almost guaranteed to assure you success. And this is why Michael Jordan is who he is, because of thriving on challenges, because of that competitive nature, because I think at the end of the day, we can sum up that competitive nature is the constant need to prove something, is the constant need to overcome something, is the constant need to overcome that challenge, and he welcomes all challenges. This is why Michael Jordan never backed down from any challenge, because he welcomes all challenges. He wants that challenge. He wants to see if you can face him and overcome him. He welcomes that challenge. And that mindset is what got him to 6-0 in the finals, never allowing a Game 7. That mindset is what allowed him to defy conventional wisdom. That, the thinking that you had to have a dominant big man to win championships. Again, like I said, you can go before Michael Jordan, which Isaiah Thomas needs to get some credit as well. But before Michael Jordan, it was big men winning championships. When Michael Jordan retired the first time, who won? Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon. Michael Jordan comes back. He retires the second time. And who wins immediately after that? The San Antonio Spurs, then the Lakers. It went right back to big men winning championships. And for the most part, it's been like that, with the exception of, a couple of players. Steph Curry being one of them. But it's that mindset that allowed Michael Jordan to do all of these things that they said couldn't be done. They said that, hey, you can't be the scoring champion and win championships. He did that 6 times, including having the highest usage rate, which hadn't been done. But I think Michael Jordan did that at least 4 times. He had the highest usage rate and won championships. It's that mindset that allowed him to lead the league in scoring while winning Defensive Player of the Year. It's that mindset that allowed him to have 10 scoring titles while having 9 times first team all defense. Unlike only 5 first team all defense for LeBron James. Again, I constantly have to bring this up because in a way to kind of mask the fact that it's only 5. Most people, when they talk about defensive teams with LeBron James, they just say 6 defensive teams, but it's only 5 first team all defense. And if I'm being honest, some of those 5 is probably questionable. Again, I have to say this over and over. LeBron James has never been a consistently great defender. He is not somebody I would put in a category of great defenders. He's someone who has made some spectacular defensive plays. But again, to play consistently great defender, but consistently great defense, to be known as a lockdown defender, LeBron James has never been that. He's never been Jordan or Kobe in that kind of from that standpoint. But yeah, it's that embracing the challenge that has let Michael Jordan do all of these things that show his dominance. Because let me say this, and yeah, I know you LeBron James fanboys going to say, oh, why every time you talk about Michael Jordan, you got to talk about LeBron, because I am trying to dispel this myth that, and I'm trying to dispel it for the people who don't know or the people who may be on the fence. Most real basketball fans understand this, and it is known for people who really truly love the game of basketball. But for the younger generation, for the people who may be on the fence, for the people who hadn't paid much attention to how they pump up LeBron James, this is why I constantly, and I also do it because to me, LeBron James is the exact opposite of Michael Jordan. So when I'm trying to drive home a point, it's basically you can either be this or you can be that. You can be someone who embraces the challenge like Michael Jordan and winds up 6-0 in the finals and winds up the GOAT, or you can be someone who tries to go around the challenge constantly, and you can wind up like LeBron James, begging for your respect and having to tell people you're the GOAT and hire a whole media team to try to convince people of that, when if your game backed it up on a court, you wouldn't need any of that stuff. So this is why I talk about constantly compare the two. But so I said all that to say this, is that LeBron James trying to have a 40-year basketball career is not a show of dominance. And I would argue there has been, despite what they tell you, there has been no clear point in LeBron James' career where you can say he dominated. There hasn't been that. But again, the most important thing is just because you continue to play year after year and stacking up points, because that's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen even more when you're playing in a soft league where players in general are having longer careers because it's less physical, and it's easier to score. So the stacking up of points is going to happen as long as you continue to play. But that is not a show of dominance. That doesn't mean you were dominant at any point. And I would argue there has been no point that you can point to and say that LeBron James was dominant. Not even Miami. And Miami was definitely his best years for me. All around, I believe. Miami was, but it's also, I feel like the years where he started flopping more regularly as well. So, and it's also, the whole super team thing by itself takes away from the credit that you can give him for being dominant. How can you give a guy credit for being dominant when he's playing with two other superstars? How can you say that? How can you gauge that? Michael Jordan played with one other All-Star and won 6 championships. That is dominance. Michael Jordan never allowed a Game 7 in the finals. That is dominance. Michael Jordan three-peated 2 separate times. That is dominance. What did LeBron James do? He ran and formed a super team, and he lied to everybody right from the get-go. He lied to everybody by saying they were going to win 7 or 8 championships right from the get-go. And they got 2. They didn't even get a three-peat with that team. Can you imagine? I mean, I know I am talking in vain because I know that this information, I know you fanboys have an invisible force field around your brain that doesn't allow truth or logic to enter. I get that. But to have a super team with you, D Wade, and Chris Bosh and not get a three-peat, say what you want about Kobe and Shaq, but they got a three-peat together. As they should. And they did. But LeBron James, D Wade, Chris Bosh couldn't get a three-peat, and I would argue they couldn't. I would argue this: replace LeBron James on that team with D Wade and Chris Bosh, and you get a much better outcome. I think you have a much more chance for a three-peat and definitely more chance for more championships within the amount of time that they play together. Because LeBron James is always the factor on any team that's going to prevent you from reaching your full potential. He's always the factor. Because there's so many holes in his game that you can't depend on him. And he's not a good team leader. So he's not going to get the best out of his teammates. He's simply going to throw them under the bus. But LeBron James, the Miami, again, he has no period where you could say, like, this is his era. This is LeBron James was dominating the league from this period to this period. He doesn't have that. Because whatever you say, Steph Curry has just as much claim to that. But again, this all goes back to the two types of people. Is you can either embrace the challenge, you can look forward to the challenge, you can want the challenge, you can live for the challenge, or you can be like LeBron James and avoid the challenge. And Michael Jordan lived for the challenge. This is how we keep getting these incredible stories. This is not the first story of Michael Jordan playing after drinking several beers. This is not the first story. You know, there's another story about this guy who he was playing golf with, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was playing golf with this guy. Apparently, like, they had played 36 holes or something, and he was ready to go, and Michael Jordan was like, well, let's play some more. And said, you know, they had drank like a 12-pack of beer or something, and apparently Michael Jordan lost to him, so Michael Jordan bet him for the game. He said, I think he said we win by 20 and I have over 30 or something like that. We win by at least 20 and I have over 30. Whatever it was, but he did it. You know, the Bulls won by 20 and Michael Jordan had 30-something points. But again, this Michael Jordan thrives under these kind of conditions. And the last thing I'm going to say that I thought was interesting is the fact that Craig Hodges said that Michael Jordan had 30 by the half and then said, if you guys can't win without me, we don't deserve to be champions. I dropped 30 and went and sat down and said, if you can't win without me, we don't deserve to be champions. That is Michael Jordan issuing a challenge to his teammates. Michael Jordan's like, hey, I did my part. Like, all you gotta do is secure the win now. Now I got us the lead. We got a good lead. Like, if you guys can't finish them off, we don't deserve to be champions. So he's issuing a challenge to his teammates. So like, look, get this done without me. And I think that's the nature of Michael Jordan's life. And if you were around Michael Jordan, if you were one of his teammates or someone around, then inherently it in some way became part of your life. Is the overcoming of challenges, you know, going all the way back to when he got cut when he got cut from the varsity team. Going all the way back then, it's always been about overcoming the challenges. And you know, and Scottie Pippen is a top 50 player because Michael Jordan was challenging him in practice every day. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think of that story given by former Chicago Bulls, former teammate of Michael Jordan, Craig Hodges, who was also a great shooter himself. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.